Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. Today is the 6th of January 2022 and it's around 1:17 p.m. Boy, the market is not looking good. So I'm going to just talk about other things before I talk about the shares because we need some motivation and I have exactly what we need. And for that, I'm going to show you some articles that I have seen that make me feel positive about CRISPR. So one of the first articles that I have seen, and I'm bringing this purposely to you because mostly we always talk in this channel about CRISPR and from a human context, from the point of view of medicines and all that. But here are some good examples of CRISPR being used in crop and agriculture and all. So here's the first one. This is an innovation that has been done in Israel. So that's a PhD student called Yaren Levne. And she has done genetic modification and she calls it as pure editing. It's not genetic engineering because no foreign DNA has been implanted. She used a virus that they usually use in their lab for introducing genetic material into crops. And the same virus has been used for other crops. She has used that here. She has tweaked the gene which tricks the lettuce to produce way more nutrients, 8 times more nutrients than they usually do. So what does that mean? So out here you can see the European Safety Authority recommends adults consume around 80 milligrams of vitamin C per day to meet these demands. Adults would have to consume about 16 cups of regular lettuce. And in this case, what happens is that the new modified lettuce, you just need 2 cups of shredded new modified lettuce to meet the same requirement. So it's a 8:2 kind of a ratio. Like you just need 2 cups of shredded lettuce, and it can be easily incorporated into a salad, and you could get a higher amount of vitamin C. So that's the beauty of it, and this really made me very happy and. I felt that I should share this with you, and I'm hoping that this gives you confidence that the field that we are focused on, the CRISPR field, is indeed a really good opportunity, and all the setbacks that we are having in the market is totally external. Most of the market participants are myopic and they just look at the short term and they just look at things that are already proven because they want money with less risk. So this particular field that we are in, the CRISPR, it's going to yield results in the next 2 to 3 years. I'm very positive. Probably at the end of this year, we should see a cure for sickle cell. And again, these are my opinions. This is not financial advice. So please consult your financial planner or financial advisor before you make any decisions. Do your own due diligence. But my personal opinion is that CRISPR is going to deliver sickle cell therapy by the end of this year. Now let's look at the next big thing that I came across today. Kidney transplant failure through kidney rejection can now be detected without biopsy. And generally what happens is when a kidney transplant is done, the patient who received the kidney has to accept the kidney. The body has to accept the kidney. For that, there's a lot of medicines that are given to the patient. But still, the kidney being a foreign body introduced into the patient's body is generally rejected. So what happens these days is that you have to go through a biopsy and all that, and those kind of interventions happen only at a very late stage. Whereas with a CRISPR-based assay that can sensitively and non-invasively detect a biomarker of acute kidney rejection in urine, there is a new method now to detect not only in a non-invasive manner but also very much ahead of time, so that physicians and others can have a better opportunity to save the kidney and also help the body to assimilate the kidney much better. And also it's improved quality of life for the patient. So this is the other positive that I had. So every day I'm going to try and bring you at least 2 positives so that we can stay motivated. Now, having said that, let us go into our real world of pain, which is going to be our NASDAQ and VXN. So I'm going to start with VXN. As you can see, today I have introduced a new line here, and as part of my superstition, I'm believing that if I draw a line, it's going to be respected. So we'll have to see what happens next. What I have done is I've joined this peak with the other peak, and I brought it down. Unfortunately, this forms again a very bullish pennant, so that by the time the VXN comes here somewhere around 9th of February, there's a potential that we may break out again. So that's what is likely to happen. So here we are. Today we have been dropping down. We have gone below the earlier support of 26.22. So we are now down here. I hope that we continue moving downwards, and our next resistance is going to support is going to be at 24.87. So we had to further go down below 24.87, and that's when Nasdaq will start getting back to where it was before. Today, Nasdaq is showing a bit of a relief rally because the VXN has come down a little bit. And this is a view of Nasdaq from a close-up. So our support, a horizontal support that we have at 14954.18 is holding well. It has been validated once, twice, thrice, and 4 times. So the fourth one happened yesterday, and since then we are moving upwards. And today we have formed some kind of inverted red hammer, and our next resistance is going to be out here at 15419.01. Right now the momentum is also sluggish, and the MACD is also looking bearish. Now if I revert back to a 1-day time frame, it's the same situation. Our MACD is bearish and our momentum is low. So things are not looking that great today. We have got another 2.5 hours to go. So things can go a bit pear-shaped or maybe move sideways, but I don't see things going up given the current situation. Now let's go on to look at our biotech shares. Now let's start looking at individual stocks. Intellia, let us see what has happened with the share price and how it interacts with what we have. So we had 2 support levels out here, and the first one is at 102.48, and we have perfectly bounced off that, and we are staying above. And our next resistance is going to be at 108.01. Our MACD is looking bearish, and RSI momentum is totally down. So let us hope and pray that in the next 3 hours we don't drop below our support of 102.48. Next is Beam. As far as Beam is concerned, we tested the resistance as well as the support. Our support is at 69.70. Sorry, our support is at 70.08, and we tested it perfectly. We validated it, and our resistance is at 79.19. We were successfully rejected from that, and what we have formed is a doji candle. A doji candle in charting terms is a sign of indecision, where neither the bears nor the bulls can prevail, and the smaller the candle, the greater the balance between bulls and bears. So we have this narrow range in which both bulls and bears have a consensus that the price could reside. So that's what I would say. As far as the MACD is concerned, the MACD is bearish, and also the momentum is very weak. Dark pool activity is also negative. Let us look at Regeneron. Regeneron again is forming a doji candle, and it has perfectly been rejected by 605.81, where we had our resistance, and it's just above the support of 594.13, having come very close to bouncing off it. So we are looking at the MACD, which is again very bearish. RSI doesn't have much of a momentum. Now if I go into a daily time frame and look at it, you would find that we have the potential of MACD crossing over the signal line and RSI picking up, but all these things are in the infant stage, they are in the nascent stage. So I would rather prefer, in this current market period, I would rather prefer to look at the daily time frame to see if we can detect anything. Like I'm looking for a possibility of seeing any kind of bullish divergence or bearish divergence in any of the stocks, which can kind of indicate in a advance what's going to happen, and I'm not seeing much so far. Now let's look at the next share, which is Novartis. I'm going to go back into a 1 month time frame, and we are perfectly above our support, which is at around 88.41, and we have got a resistance at 89.29, and we are perfectly bouncing between these two. We are actually consolidating sideways, and today has been a pretty decent day. We still have got 3 more hours to go, and when I look at the MACD, it's not bearish, but it's kind of neutral. Our momentum is not bad, it is above neutral, so I am hopeful that we are going to continue to improve the gains out here and be a bit more greener by the end of the day. Let's look at Vertex. Vertex is is below a resistance of 224.46. It's at 222.77. We have a support here at 220.15. So we are consolidating. And if I was to try to figure out some way of trying to see what is going to happen, then I would probably draw I'd probably draw a pennant. So I can see from here. So this will be the line that I would draw, which kind of shows the bottom, where we have always bounced off. So I'll try to use this line as some kind of a bullish channel until we get any further indication that it's not so. We have got positive sentiments in the dark pool. We have a MACD which is right now it is bullish, but it's trying to tend towards being bearish. Momentum is decent, so Vertex can probably continue moving sideways today, and probably on the 7th, that is tomorrow, we'll come and validate this particular diagonal line, and then we'll know whether this is really going to be a support or if it is just a fake. So we'll watch. Next we come to Editas. In Editas, we have a support at 24.36, and we have a resistance which is at 25.50. So we are firmly between these two. Our MACD is bullish, and RSI is not that great. The momentum is not as high as it should be, but still something is better than nothing, and we are just at a 1 cent positive. Dark pool sentiment is negative. So I think that probably Editas might end up testing our resistance today of 24.36 and may potentially drop down, looking at the overall sentiment of the market. Next, let us look at Bluebird. Bluebird is kind of staying above this diagonal line. Of course, this diagonal line is no longer as potent as it was before because it has already been breached before. But if I were to look at this in a long-term time frame, I could still probably assume that we may try to validate this inclined line. Otherwise, our support is going to be at $9.76, and our resistance, the earlier support, has now at 10.02, has now become a resistance for us. So I've turned it red. And as far as the MACD is concerned, it's bearish. Momentum is also below neutral and looking weak. Dark pool sentiment is positive, but it's not looking that great. Maybe if we stay above our 9.74 today, I would be happy. That would be the support above which we should stay. Pfizer is down marginally by minus 0.13%. It is staying above 53.50, which is the support, and I'm looking forward to it challenging 56.2 to the resistance, maybe by end of day today, and coming into the green. The dark pool sentiment is positive, and if I go to the daily chart, I can see that we have MACD, which is tending towards crossing over the signal line. So maybe today we'll continue being in the red, and we may not be able to go into the green because the indicators, inbuilt indicators like RSI and MACD, do not seem to show much promise at this stage. ARKG is down minus 48%, and MACD is bullish. RSI is weak. I don't see much happening out here. And if I were to zoom out to a 3-month time frame, we can see clearly that our next support is going to be, our next support is at 54.06, and we are above that, and we have the next resistance at 56.61. Our MACD is bearish, and our momentum is totally short. So things are going to continue moving down for ARK. I hope that the support at 54.06 continues to hold. When we come to TDOC, we have broken below one more support, which I'm going to mark today. So I'm going to mark this support which we've reached as resistance. And then our next support is going to be at 78.36. So when we look at the MACD and the RSI, both are short down and looking absolutely bearish. Dark pool sentiment is also negative. So more red to come. I would be glad if we stay above the last support that we have. When it comes to Crispr Therapeutics, it's down 2.16, and it's the biggest loser today. And we are just above 66.36, which is our support. We had pierced it earlier yesterday and bounced back. Now we are going sideways. Our MACD is totally bearish. There is no momentum as such, and the dark pool sentiment is also negative. So it's not looking good. So having said that, take heart. These are all tough times. Market goes through cycles. Um, Peaks don't last. Troughs don't last. We always travel between the two. For the next 3 months, just hunker down and wait for things to come up. And we will change our mindset as we get more data points available. Because right now, from a talking point, there is very little to say because the volatility is such that people, investors in the market, are having multiple mindsets. Sometimes they think that things are going to look better. Sometimes they think it's not. So there's a migration to more quality stocks which are revenue generating and which are also dividend paying and which have products that are already in the market, and more adventurous stocks like the ones that are not paying any revenue, that are not generating revenue, that are in an unproven technology field where products are not yet into the market and have not been sold. Those kind of shares are suffering, whether they are in the Crispr sector or whether they are in the electric battery sector or whether they are in robotics or any other sector that you can name. All of them are taking a beating. Even big names like Apple and all have taken a beating. So it's just the nature of the beast. Hang in there. So with that, I would like to end my segment today. Thanks for all your support and thanks for the subscription increase that I saw yesterday. 3 more people have subscribed. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping this channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.